Hi there, my name is Ryk van Niekerk and welcome to the very first episode of the How to Make Money With podcast, a show where we explore real, practical and innovative ways to boost your income. Whether you are after some extra cash or aiming for financial freedom, opportunities are everywhere. You just need to know where to look. In each episode, we unpack side hustles that could grow into full-time businesses, from freelancing as a designer or a copywriter to flipping furniture on Facebook Marketplace, starting a drop shipping store or selling on eBay. We explain what works and how it works. We'll also explore how people can turn hobbies like photography into stock image sales, build profitable YouTube channels, or cash in on trends like print on demand and subscription-based newsletters. Today we are kicking off with how to make money with social media. With billions of users, platforms like YouTube and Facebook offer huge earning potential for content creators. To show you what's possible, I will speak to two highly successful influencers or content creators, as they normally refer to themselves. First up is Young Earn. Now, he is known for his outrageous and unpredictable videos. He's built up a massive following and he's making serious money in the process. Then in a separate episode, I speak to Miss Linky, who creates educational content for preschool children. Her approach is calm, structured, and it is her full-time job. But before we dive in, please like, follow or subscribe to this podcast to help us grow and bring you more ways to make money. Let's get started with Young Earn. And in case you don't know, you spell it Youngearn. Joining me in studio now is Young Earn. That's the alias for Keith, and he is doing fantastic things on social media. He has 460,000 followers on TikTok. He has 65,000 followers on Instagram and 48,000 subscribers on YouTube. He's also big on Facebook, and he is a professional social media personality, and he does some insane and crazy things on those platforms, yes, to entertain, but also to make money. But Young Earn, thank you so much for joining me in studio. Tell us about Young Earn.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here. I don't know, I guess you summed it up there. I guess I have a goofy side of myself that I wanted to show people. I think the videos brought that through. Yeah, I just do things that I guess people don't usually think of, and I film it and I post it, and people really enjoy the videos.
But let's just talk about tomorrow, because I use a lot of social media. I will always watch the funny videos people send on. I watch the reels on YouTube and Facebook, and I've seen you there. But the stuff you do is so different. Sometimes it's a 10-second video. Sometimes it's a review of a new burger or a dish at a restaurant. How would you describe your own product?
I guess in the way it started would maybe explain the whole context of everything. So basically my very first viral video was me in a taxi, where I show that when you're about to get off a taxi, you get scared to say after robot. You get very nervous and anxious. And people were like, it's South Africa. And people were like, I've never seen a white person on a taxi. So I literally took a video, like a vlog, of me getting onto a taxi. And I posted that, and that also went viral. And then the story just continued. I've never seen a white person eat food in the township. So I went to the township and I ate food in the township because, I grew up in the townships and stuff like that. So it wasn't weird to me. But people seeing it for the first time, it baffled their minds. Oh, there's this white boy that's not afraid to go into the township and eat the township food, like in Nyama Yentloko and all of those things. And slowly but surely, it just became a food review thing as well. People are like, please go try this and try that. So that's how it all happened. And then the crazy things is just me being goofy, because I feel like, as I said, my very first video was a comedy video. So that's a core part of my personality. Luckily, I'm funny sometimes.
That is indeed the case. But let's go back. You said you grew up in the township. How did you get into doing videos for social media? What was the background?
Basically, growing up with my cousins, they used to love Eminem, rap music and so on. So they eventually influenced me to start rapping. So I was making a lot of music in my high school years, going to studios and making music. And then whenever I would make music, it would be more in love stories and heartbreak stories, sad stuff. But I always had this goofy side to my personality that I didn't know how to show. But then I saw videos on YouTube and so on, and I was like, okay, this is a great way for me to not only promote my music, but to show that side of my personality. And I think since the very first video that I made, people really loved seeing that side of me as well.
But those were music videos?
No, like my very first video that I posted was a prank video, and I posted it on my WhatsApp status. So I wasn't even posting to YouTube and TikTok. TikTok didn't even exist back then.
When was this?
This was before COVID, a few years before COVID, just after high school. So after 2015. And people just loved it from then, and I kept going. And then it was in COVID where I started posting more videos, and then that's when I went viral.
And the name Young Earn, where does that come from?
So that was actually like my rap name. It stems from the word yearn. You see, I actually have a bracelet with it on, which means to desire strongly. So I always, like, when I was rapping, I desired very strongly to, like, make a name for myself, you know, especially like growing up poor and whatever, like to, you know, not be poor. Yeah, so I desired like a lot of things quite strongly. So the word yearn, and then I split it up to young earn, so that it doesn't sound so underground.
So you realized people were laughing at your videos. I would imagine it was actually quite cool to do as well. When did you start to make money from it?
Yeah, so crazy thing. I actually quit my job. I was doing IT full-time. I did IT for about a year and a half. I had other jobs before that, but it just wasn't for me. Like, I couldn't stand being in that environment. So I quit my job. Luckily, I had a small side hustle where I would do captioning online, subtitling and captioning online. And then that basically made me about 5,000 Rand a month, which was very little. But in that same time, I went viral on social media. And at first, I didn't make any money from doing these videos and so on because TikTok doesn't pay. But then after a few months of doing it, my first brand deal reached out to me.
Your first brand, which one was that?
So this was a small, unknown company that loved my videos. You know, they did like hardware, and they were like, please help us promote our hardware store. So that was my first video.
And they paid you for it?
Yes, they paid me for it. A small little advert, I think I got about 5,000 Rand for the one advert. Now you must remember, I was making that per month doing the online captioning. And then soon after that, Stakenico reached out to me. That was a lot more money. So then I did a video for Stakenico. So now I could use that money to fund my content creation.
So they would pay you to make an ad and promote the business, but you would then post that video on your social media platforms. You would market it as well?
Yes. So basically they'd pay me to go out and make the video and then post it to my followers on my TikTok.
And you need to start somewhere. Obviously, you also need to have an audience to send these ads to. Tell us about how the audiences develop.
So yeah, definitely you need an audience. And I feel like, you know, people start loving you for the image that you put out there. My image was that of like Ubuntu, like bringing South Africa together, you know. So people love me for that. And I think that's what really brought a lot of brands to me as well, is because there's this kid and he's promoting South Africa. You know, he's very South African and he has that South African feel. And a lot of brands want to like connect with that. I know a lot of influencers who don't even get a lot of brand deals because their image is not that of what brands want to connect with.
But that's not easy to do. How did you do it?
It's not easy to do at all. I think it just so happened that my personality aligned with what brands were looking for. It wasn't like a plan, like I'm going to be this way and the brands are going to connect with me. It just so happened that that's how it worked out.
Well, if you watch any of the videos, you are very energetic. You are very funny. You speak about things that in South Africa is sometimes very sensitive. But speaking to you before this recording, you're a very normal person. Your personality does not really mirror your social media personality. So talk about your online or social media personality. How did you create it?
I feel like, you know, when doing videos, you have to almost... It's like acting. You have to be more enthusiastic. You know, you have to show a lot of energy so that people can feel that energy on the other side of the phone, you know, because they're watching, or the computer where they're watching from. If I was just like wild and let's go in my everyday life, I think people would think I'm really weird when they met me in person. But yeah, I'm a very chilled guy actually. But I do have my times when I'm the same as I'm in my videos.
And your accent, where does that come from? I thought it was a stage accent, but it's not.
Yeah, everybody, like, I swear that's the most comments I get, like, what's up with your accent? Where did you get your accent from? It's just how I grew up. Like, I did a video explaining it. So I grew up first in Yeoville, Joburg. That was one of my first places where I stayed. And then we moved to Durban for about 4 years. So then I picked up a bit of a Durban accent. Once we came back to Johannesburg, the schools I went to, there were never a lot of white people. So it was Indian people, colored people, black people. Those were my friends growing up, and I feel like I've picked up pieces of accents everywhere I've been, and I haven't been around a lot of white people, so I don't have that white accent.
Let's talk about money. You are one of few South African social media personalities that do this full time. And when did you realize, listen, I can make a living of, creating this content and posting it online?
So look, it has really been a journey to get to where I am now and be able to live fully off of it. But I've been living off social media for about 2 years now, like full time. And it's been greater than any 9 to 5 that I could have at my age. If you were to search up YouTubers in America and so on, you'll see that those guys are driving McLarens and, they have nice cars and nice houses. There's a lot of money in social media. There's a lot of money to be made. It's basically marketing. I used to do TikTok live where you sit on a live stream and people send you gifts. If people love you, they're really willing to spend money on you, if I can put it like that.
How much have you earned through those gifts?
A lot. A lot. Enough for SARS to come after me.
Are you serious?
Yeah. No, not necessarily come after me, but they've taken a big cut.
They've taken notes.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So yeah, you can definitely make a lot of money. But
I've seen some of the international influencer superstars, as you say, they make millions and millions of dollars. South Africa is a lot smaller. And I've also seen, especially on your YouTube channel, you try to analyze how much money other influencers make, South African influencers, and you actually mention amounts. So how much can a good influencer in South Africa make doing this full time?
Look, I just want to say it's not easy. I don't want people to think they can just jump on the bandwagon and make this type of money. But there are people that are easily making over 3 million a year just doing content. This is without brand deals. So imagine with brand deals, how much they're making altogether.
A brand deal would be Ster-Kinekor, employing you to market the brand throughout the year, for example.
Yeah, or like Nike sponsoring an advert for you. So just by making videos and posting it to platforms like YouTube and Facebook, you can easily make millions a year.
What needs to happen for you to make millions a year?
You need to be making hundreds of millions of views because you get paid per 1,000 views. So you need to be getting a lot of views, and it needs to be engaging content. People need to be sitting and watching that content for hours at a time, if I can put it like that. It has to be good content and engaging content that people want to watch. If you're not doing that, there's no way you're even making anything.
So you need to build an audience and get those people to watch your content. What is the secret here? Do you need to make hundreds of videos, or do you need to make 10 that are really, really good and hope those 10 go viral?
So it's like a catch-22 because there's different ways to make this money. You can either make hundreds of videos and get paid like that, but there are people that are making, let's say, 1 video a week, and they're making more than people posting hundreds of videos. You know what I mean? So there's a balance, and it also depends on which platform you're posting on.
How many videos do you make?
I try to post a video a day. Yeah, I try to post a video a day, although I am slowly but surely trying to get into the weekly videos as well, but that's for YouTube.
And some of them are very, very short and a few seconds long. Do you plan them at all? How do you conceptualize the video you want to shoot?
So a lot of the time it would just be through social interactions. Like while I'm chilling with you, I could get an idea, and then that little spark of an idea could turn into a video.
Maybe I'm old school. I'm a lot older than you are, but I can appreciate content creation talent. It's not easy to do, as you've said before, but just talk to us on how to build that audience, because if you can do that, the money will follow. And to get to 100,000, 200,000 followers, for example, on YouTube, which is the main monetization channel for social media in South Africa, how should somebody go about trying to build that audience?
My advice would be authentic and try to create content that people would be interested in. There's a lot of tools that can help you with that, like Google Search Analytics, that can show you what people are searching for. A great thing that you're also doing is Moneyweb. People love topics around money. So maybe if you are an older person, you can speak about your experiences with money, where you went wrong and what you did right, and where people can put their money to make more money, because money is a big social media thing. Yeah, but I'd feel like just show your life and show things that people would be interested in.
Is humor important? Is that a key ingredient?
Not always. I just feel like I enjoy telling jokes and being stupid sometimes, but you don't have to be humorous.
Do you measure the outcomes of each video?
Yes, I do check and try to see what performs better than others and what pays me more. For example, I can tell you I did a lot of prank videos last year, and although they performed really great, the ROI wasn't as high as with some of my other videos that I did. So hence why this year I've slowed down on the pranks. Although people love it, it's just not doing what I needed to do in terms of making me money.
Just talk us through the monetization potential of the different social media platforms. We've referred to YouTube a lot. Just, take us through how much money you make from YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook.
Okay, so my highest earning platform right now is Facebook.
Facebook?
Yeah, they pay me more than what YouTube pays me currently. That's also because Facebook is easier to monetize with short form content.
Those real videos you would get?
Yes, so Facebook is much easier to monetize those. YouTube prefers long form content. So that's we're talking about the sweet spot for YouTube is over 8 minutes. And the sweet spot for Facebook is 3 minutes. You see, so there's a big difference in terms of energy to how much you're making. You understand? So you could spend the whole day making an 8-minute video, and that video could flop, and then you're not making as much money. But in that same day, you can spend that time making 3-minute videos, and then one of them goes viral on Facebook, and then you make your money. So there is like those type of things that you must weigh. But if you do get a viral 8-minute video, you're going to be making much more money.
Just on Facebook, I don't understand the monetization model all that well. So you create the content and you post it onto your page, and then Facebook sells advertising as a pre-roll to your video, and then the more people who watch it, the more times that ad is shown and the bigger the cut you receive.
100%. That's how it works, yeah. They show ads on your video, and then Facebook pays you 55% of that ad revenue.
55%?
Yes.
And YouTube? How much does YouTube pay?
I think YouTube is also about 55%.
And Instagram and TikTok?
It's so sad that, in America and I think the UK, TikTok and Instagram is able to be monetized. So you can do the same thing, post videos to TikTok and Instagram and make a lot of money. But in South Africa, apparently, there's not a lot of advertising power. So they don't monetize those platforms, which doesn't give us incentive to post there. I mean, the only reason why I still post to TikTok is because brands love advertising on TikTok. So then brands would reach out to me to do an ad for their video on TikTok. That's one of the only reasons I still post there.
But you've got a massive audience there. It's actually your biggest audience.
It's my second biggest currently. Facebook is now the biggest at 550,000 followers.
550,000 followers.
Yeah, in a year.
That's more votes that several political parties got during the previous election.
Yeah, it's been a lot of hard work though, but it's been super fun building that up as well.
We showed a few of your videos in the office yesterday. There was one where you ate a pasta and you would put on hot sauces and chilies and insanely, burny type of substances on the pasta, and then you ate it and you had a bit of a creative reaction, I must say. Was it real chilies you used?
Yeah, those were real. It was bad. It was really, really hard. Really hard, yeah.
I don't suggest many people would like to enter this industry start there because it did look definitely painful. But just lastly, give us a few tips, or what pointers should young people take into account when they would like to become influencers and make a living? Maybe not only young people, maybe other people as well.
The biggest thing that I've seen over my time, especially trying to help my friends become influencers, is that you really have to, it's like starting any business, because it's basically a business. Because as I say, in my first few days of making content, I took my 5,000 Rand a month and I reinvested that into making videos. So I would go take a taxi or put petrol in my car and drive and buy food with that 5,000 Rand a month. And I did that for about 3 months without any return on investment. And I made sure every single day there's a new video out there. So you really got to be dedicated, and luckily I love what I do. It will be hard if you don't love what you do, but if you can, it doesn't have to, you can literally post anything that you're interested in, and you will find people that are also interested in that thing. Like there's people posting about comic books and they have a huge fan base. So I just feel like create content, make sure you're consistent, and make sure it's good content. One big thing for me is, before I went viral, I used to look at videos and see, okay, why is this video viral? Okay, in the first 5 seconds, they have text on the screen right at the top, for example. And then I put that into my video, and that was the video that went viral. Just these simple, small things. Look at what other people are doing and try recreate it in your own way.
And Get those videos out and start building an audience.
100%.
Obviously, you didn't get the recipe right the first time or when you started. What research did you do? As you've just said, you looked at other type of examples and see what worked and what didn't work. But there is no autocorrect course. You need to do it yourself. So who did you follow to see, who is doing it right and who's not doing it right?
There's no really specific people, but one person that I would say is really inspiring to me is Mr. Beast, the biggest YouTuber. His journey, I literally went back and watched his very first videos and so on and stuff like that. But it really is a lot of trial and error. You think this is a strategy that works, then you try it out and the video flops and you're like, okay, no, this doesn't work. I need to go back to the drawing board. So it's like a constantly learning experience. Algorithms change. You just need to stay up to date.
How many flops do you have for every video that goes viral?
It's crazy. So I told you I post every day, but in a month, maybe let's say 8 videos go viral.
What is the definition of a video going viral?
Reaching 1 million views.
1 million views?
Yeah. So out of 30 videos, about 10 of them go viral.
Oh, that's not a bad hit ratio. And what is the average in the industry?
Different influencers have different hit rates and so on. But you'll find the top 1% easily each video over 1 million views every single time.
I think this is a phenomenal world. Not everyone can make a living, doing this. Do you think there's a lot of room for people just to add to their monthly income and having fun while doing it?
Look, I think there is room for that. There's definitely opportunity for that. I've seen people online even quit their jobs and do social media full time after, just making a few videos. And at the same time, I just want to say I've seen people with more followers than me ask me for money, because you got to be really smart with how you do these things. Because as I wanted to say, before I started making enough money from brand deals, I went and sat on TikTok live every single night to be able to make money. You know what I mean? Because as I said, I quit my job. And now what we've done is we've also started a small marketing company, marketing and media, where we create videos for companies to promote their restaurants and their brands. So that's also a bit of a sustainable income, because social media, 1 month I could be making a lot, and then the next month I make okay. So it's not a stable income.
The more videos you make, all of them will be watched. Your library is big, so I think the more you make, in the long run, your revenue should just continue to increase and increase and increase, because it's not so dependent on your next video.
Yeah, 100%. Luckily with platforms like YouTube and Facebook, it does still do that. I could make a video this month and then I'm still getting paid for that video 3 months down the line. Yeah. But for example, let's say, roughly example, this is not what I make. Let's say this month I make 300,000 Rand, right, from my videos. And then 6 months down the line, let's say I've been very inconsistent and so on, I make 20,000 Rand. So do you see? And let's say this month I have 10 crazily viral videos, right? Over 5 million each. So that month I'm making 200K, for example. And then 3 months down the line, all my videos flop. None of them go viral. And then I'm making 25K.
No, it can be variable. I can understand that. But just lastly, tell us, not use your own income, but what can a very good social media influencer in South Africa earn per month?
Per month? Easy over 50K per month.
Easy. But then
if you're doing good. Yeah, if you're doing good. Yeah.
Young Ern, we'll have to leave it there. Thank you so much for coming into studio and sharing your insights with us. I think it's a phenomenal world of opportunity, the social media influencer industry, and you're one of the leading players there, and thanks for sharing your insights.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Appreciate being here.
That's it for this episode of the How to Make Money with podcast. I hope you found it useful and maybe even a little inspiring. If you've enjoyed it, please follow or subscribe, depending on your platform, and share it with someone who's also looking for smart ways to earn more. Thanks for listening, and catch you next time as we explore more practical ways to make money.